3, 2. Hello, and welcome to the On The Rise DJ Academy Facebook live stream. We've got a very special guest coming in for this week. For the one that we're doing is Sam Shepherd, the product specialist from Pioneer DJ in the UK, and we are going to be doing a demo of a couple of things. Rekordbox, which you can clearly see pictured right there, and we're also going to be showcasing the latest DDJ 1000 controller. We're going to take some questions as well from people that are here with us and also online. So if you've got any questions, do feel free to fire away. We're not going to wait to the end, just jump straight on in. And we also have a chance for you to win some Pioneer goodies as well. There'll be one lucky winner here who's going to win a pair of headphones. And we got a T-shirt and a hoodie for those online. So we'll fire out some details of that as we kind of go. But for now, I'm going to hand you over to Sam, who's going to kick it off by letting us know what's going on with Rekordbox. Over to you, mate.
Perfect. Hi, guys. Yeah, so again, my name's Sam. I'm from Pioneer DJ. We're here at On The Rise on a lovely freezing cold evening, shall we say. So this video I'm going to delve into Rekordbox and Rekordbox DJ. I'm going to show you what's brand new on 5.2, and then we're going to go over to the DDJ 1000, and I'm going to go into some of the functions and features that we've brought out on this new controller. So first things first, Rekordbox DJ. So whether you're a user of Rekordbox or whether you're looking to make the transition to Rekordbox, hopefully in the next 15 minutes I can just give you a bit more of an insight on what's going on with our software. So as you can see on the screen here, this is Rekordbox export mode. So there's two sort of versions, if you will, to Rekordbox. One is the export mode, which is a music management software, and this is free. This is entirely free. You can download this off rekordboxdj.com. And then the other mode is Rekordbox DJ, where you will purchase a license key, and you can use your Rekordbox in conjunction with your controllers or CDJs or DVS, however you'd like to DJ. But moving forward, this is obviously the export mode. So to the left of us here, this is where you're going to create, this is where your collection is. So this is where all your tracks are that you've imported into Rekordbox. So there's various ways of bringing tracks into Rekordbox. You can load them in off USB, you can load them in off your hard drive, etc. I personally use iTunes. So if you go here, all my tracks from iTunes are down here. And I just put them into Rekordbox and make sure Rekordbox can read iTunes. Then you move them over into your collection, and then it will then analyze your BPM key and the brand new way of analyzing it, which is phrase, which we'll go into a little bit further later on. From there, I then make my playlist here. Now, bear with me with my playlists and choice of music. This is a presenting laptop. This isn't my personal one, so if you do see any dodgy music in there and think, what's this guy playing? Yeah, that's the reason why. So moving forward, I've created a playlist here, sort of drum and bass and breaks here. I'm going to drag and drop this into my view up here. Now this is going to show the full waveform across. Now there's ways of looking at it. You can have one deck there, one player should I say, or you can have two players if you wish to sort of view two players and see what tracks are going to work together within export mode. For now, we'll stick to one player. So the first thing I tend to do from here is check my beat grids. For those of you who don't really know what beat grids allow you to use functions like the sync, and it allows you to keep in bar in time when you're playing with your controller. Now, beat grids are very important when you're using something called hotkeys. Now, I'm sure a lot of you know what hotkeys are. If you don't, again, I'm going to go into it in a couple of in a minute or so. But when you have a track put into Rekordbox, I'd probably say 90% of the time it registers the beat grid fine. However, there are some occasions where it may register the beat grid here. So the start of the track's here, but right here where you're seeing your red marker, this is 1 bar, and then the next one will be another red marker, 2 bars, etc. This is where your track really is going to start within your when you're using your sync function, so your master and sync function. What you need to do is have your beat grids kind of on the first beat here. And a quick way of viewing if it's correct is if you go to your, let's turn this down, if you go to your first kick, so right here. First one. I tend to come in here, zoom in a little bit so you can see what you're doing, and then reset my beat grid straight to the first kick, if you will, the drop. That way the whole track here is then going to stay in beat and in bar, and it works obviously with the quantize, and it's mainly for really your sync functions with your hot cues, etc. There are other functions to it. For example, halfway through a track you can change your BPM, so for example if you're coming from dubstep to drum and bass, you can transition the BPM so it speeds up and doubles your beat grid, therefore it will then read or sync to a drum and bass beats per minute. So from here then on my beat grids, I then go to my cues. Now for those of you who don't know what hot cues are, I see them as sort of bookmarks within your track. So over here you can see I've got A to F. You can have up to 8 hot cues within Rekordbox. So yeah, basically I start off my hot cues by have the first beat here. I tend to put a first hot cue, and I use that as sort of like a backup, if you will. So if something goes wrong within the mix, you're going too complicated, I know that first hot cue, when I hit it, that's going to start the track, so you're not losing any music, if you will. And then I just pick parts of the track that I really like, loops or one shots, and I create a loop and create a hot cue in it. So this is a hot cue, and I've coloured this because on the new controllers you can have colour code. See here, and these are all doing different functions, different parts of the track. So these are my hot cues. So to create a hot cue, you find a part of the track that you like. So for example, this here. And I'm going to create a 4-bar hot cue loop. So this is between hot cue one shot. It will stop the track off when you hit the one shot, and it will the track. The hot cue loop will allow you to hit the hot cue, and it will loop over 4 bars, 8 bars, however you set. So this here, you create a hot cue. And all you do is set the hot cue there, and then the hot cue is created, and that will save then to the information down here. Colour code it by right clicking. So there's sort of your hot cues. And again, down here, where your information for your track is, they will then save, as you can see here, then save on your wavelength. Now when you go to the controller or CDJ, these will then come up within your hot cue list once you've done something called the export into your device. So once you've done this, you can then go to things like, there's obviously other things within Rekordbox. For example, the My Tag function is really clever. Over here where it says My Tag, I can create, personalize, if you will, the track. So when I'm searching through on CDJ range or controller range, it will then come up when I search things like, let's say big room. It's obviously then listed up as big room. Components, what's it got in it? It's quite dark, it's got a synth, and it's got a vocal. So these are all saving to the My Tag function. Which situation would I use? Main floor, and so on and so on. And then of course you could put an untitled comment. You can add your own comments. So I don't know if you have everybody has their own playlists, you know, whatever you want to call it, banging tracks, big tracks, etc. You can add that and add it to the track. Once that's completed, this will then say the information will then save here. So from here, once you've done like a full playlist and done all your information, your tagging, your hot cue, you've set your beat grids, you can then go to here, your devices. Now I've no device plugged in at the minute, but when I click devices, it will show up your USB stick or SD card or whatever you've got in there, flash drive. You can then transfer all that information over to your USB stick. Once you eject your USB stick and plug it into the CDJs or the RX2 you know, it will then come up, all the information that you've done within Rekordbox export mode will read from the controller. You know, so it's really helping you out sort of on the understanding of the DJ inside of it, and it's also making it a lot easier to work your way around the decks themselves. So the My Tag function then can be searched within the CDJ range. You can search if you've put breaks on the My Tag, it will then come up whatever tracks you've set as breaks, etc. So that is a brief introduction to the export mode. But today we're gonna, there's obviously more information than this on our website on pioneerdgm.com. But then if we go here, this is now performance mode. Now this is what we're going to be using the DDJ 1000 with. This is where you put your license key in, and then you're able to DJ off your laptop using your controller range or CDJ, etc. So let's go back to my playlist here. So very simply, drag and drop here, and this is going to be coming out of channel 1 and 2. Now, before we go into the controller itself, I want to show you what's new on the 5.2 update. So I won't go through everything, but I'm going to show you some of the key things that I really like personally, and we've had some really good feedback from it. First thing I want to show you is analysing a track to now phrase mode. So phrase mode is sort of a new way of analysing tracks. When I right click on a track, or I can highlight a full playlist and click analyse track there. Here you're seeing BPM and grid. So it will analyse the beats per minute, how's the speed of the track, and it will analyse the grids. Now remember, always check your beat grids, sometimes they are off. And then it will analyse the key. And then you've got this new one here called phrase. Now phrase has multiple functions. When you tick phrase, I'm not going to reanalyze that because it's already been done, but you then click OK and it will analyze that track. So phrase is used for a number of things. Number one is the auto mix function. So over here, I've created a playlist for auto mix. So if I drag and drop this into deck 1, and there's the track running. Now, because of phrase, it recognises what's in key, so the next track will play, the next track that will automatically play will be in the same key or a similar key, but it also automatically understands where in the track it's good to mix out and where it's good to mix in with the next track automatically. So if we fast forward a bit, so that's just mixed in from that the little 8 bars towards the end where it was a breakdown in the track, and it's pulled in the next track at a relevant time in the track, if you will. So that's one of the functions of phrase. The other function is the new lighting mode, which has come out of 5.2, and the new lyric mode. Now, we're not going to go into this too much within this feed. If you want more information, there is going to be, and that have we got this? Yeah, perfect. Okay, yeah. So more information. There's going to be a link if you want to look into more lyric mode and lighting mode. The next thing I want to show you is the related tracks function here. Now, if you remember previously, a couple of minutes ago, when I was talking about the My Tag function, so this is similar, but this is more for your controller range and inside Rekordbox DJ itself. So the related tracks, I personally absolutely love. I think it's fantastic. So if we stop this here, we've got this track running here. And if I go into related tracks, I can search there's various ways of searching within the selected playlist of which tracks are going to be similar to the track that's playing. So if we click on BPM, for example, and then we click the little cogwheel here. If I click that, this then opens up what that's going to be searching for within this playlist here. Is everybody sort of still with me to this point? Yeah? Good. So I've selected BPM of the current track. Click OK, and this is pulled up the same BPM range of ±5% within the first deck, because I've selected the first deck here. You can also select master, which will then search that playlist for both decks. then you can do things like key. So within this playlist, there's only one track that's the same key as the track that's playing at the minute, and this is this bicep track here. Or you can do things like the My Tag functions on there, or you can do things like same artist, there isn't one in this playlist, same year, date added. So these are all, this is the date added that I've recently added within Rekordbox DJ. But related tracks is absolutely fantastic. So say you're live in the mix and you're halfway through and you think, I want to, you know, mix in key, or I want to change to a different key, or I want the same BPM. It's dead easy, and you can control this from the Rekordbox, DDJ 1000 as well. You don't necessarily have to go into the laptop and start playing around with the trackpad. This can be accessed by shift and view here. And I think it's a really good function for 5.2. So,
I think I've just got a little point to add into that, because I've been using that a little bit as well. And what I actually found was really useful was you can actually add quite a broad range of criteria. So you can say BPM, for example, sort of plus or minus 5%, key relevance, but you can also add genre and year and stuff as well. So if you want to kind of highlight points of your collection, you've got a big collection, it's really good. You can drill down quite detailed in that to get what you want out of it.
I mean, just for example, going off what Jay just said, if I click related tracks here, this is currently looking at this playlist here. If I click here and I go to my full collection and click OK, come down, this is then going to see the beats per minute for my full library. So, you know, so there's so much you can really do with it. And if I click this little plus here, I can create a new related tracks folder. So let's say I wanted, let's untick the BPM. Let's say I wanted ratings, and I wanted 5-star ratings. If I click OK, this then pulls up my 5-star rating tracks. So if you're in the mix and you're hitting your big tunes, and you kind of get lost and you think, what's next? Where can I go from here? You can go to your star rating, but you can also have like rating and BPM the same. So if I did rating on 5 stars and I tick BPM, down here that's now done the BPM and the rating together. So it's in the same speed and it's also in the rating of 5 stars. And you can do that with a key as well, same BPM, same key 5 stars, same genre. You know, it's endless really. It's a fantastic addition to the 5.2. So that's pretty much most things I wanted to talk about on the 5.2. There's so much more to the new update. Feel free to have a look on our website and really see what we've added to the 5.2 function. And if you are wondering what this is here, this is for those who aren't on lighting, this is obviously going to be a different view. This is your lighting mode here. Now again, we're not going to go too far into it in this video, but if you do want some information, Jay's added a link to send you through to some more information with lyrics and lighting. So from here, we're now going to delve into the DDJ 1000. So just a show of hands, has anybody played on this yet, or anybody seen one? Or for those of you who are watching a video, there are people in front of me. I'm not just...
Somebody give a yay.
Hi. Yes, thank you. Thanks for working with me, guys. Thanks for working with me. Yeah, of course. Well, good. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, that's great. What I want you to do, though, is you're not going to see it back there. Come a little closer. Now, remember, there are cameras. Come a bit closer, and I'm going to show you some of the new functions on the DDJ 1000.
You're a brave man. So what are you wearing? You need Timberlands in this weather, mate?
Go on, don't be shy, guys. Come closer. So, just for a show of hands, who actually is on Rekordbox? 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's fair enough. And who's sort of looked into the controller range from Pioneer? Good, that's good enough for me. Right, okay. So, this is the DDJ 1000. Now, this was announced, what was it, Terry, January?
January.
Yes, January this year. We've had fantastic feedback so far, and personally, I was always a vinyl or a CDJ person. Not afraid to say it, I wasn't really a controller man until this little bad boy came out, and it's absolutely fantastic. So first things first, we'll look at the ins and outs at the back. So within the new controller, you can chain up to two laptops together. So over here, this function here, you've got USB-A and you've got USB-B. And within the back there, as you guys can see, you've got 2 inputs there for USB A and B. Now, if you're sharing a set with a DJ, you know, it's so simple. You just have to download the correct driver, plug in, dead easy. Dead easy changeover. If you're going back to back with a DJ, it's fantastic because you can have 2 channels running on USB-B, one laptop, and 2 channels running USB-A. So really, you know, you're running 4 decks or 8 if you want to go to, I don't know, any DJ that would do that, but it's there. So that's that. So then also on channel 3 and 4, we've got phono and line. So if you do want to chain any external CDJs or vinyl in there, you know, you can do. It is DVS ready as well. So there's no external sound card that's needed to run. Let's say you had a PLX 1000, straight in. So yeah, there's sort of like the ins and outs at the back. We'll move over here now. So let's, obviously we're going to call this deck A, deck being a mixing section. And we're going to really look at the platter. So you'll notice if you're a CDJ user or X, let's say all the way back to the when the 1000s came out, I'm sure we've all had our hands on them before. You'll notice this is very familiar. Now this is Nexus 2 standard with jog wheel adjust. This was absolutely fantastic for me, really good. A lot of people are asking us for quite some time, you know, when are we going to upgrade the jog wheels? This is also ball bearing as well, so this isn't reliant on the previous controller range. This is now of Nexus 2 range. And of course, the new feature, we have on-jog display here. Now, at the minute, I'm looking at my wavelength, my BPM, my key, and it's showing my hot cues as well. But if you look over here, I can also go to my, if I go into control it in my preferences, and if I scroll down over here, I can turn my display cue scope off, so make it, you know, really simplify it, or I can turn it on. I can also display artwork, which, I mean, personally I don't use, but I know a lot of people, especially you flash DJs out there, like to see what tracks you're playing, etc. If you want the artwork there, it's there for you. These both are linked if anybody's going to ask the question, so you can't have one doing one thing and one doing the other. Whatever settings you put to one jog display will appear on the next. So that's this section here. Now up here, obviously we've got the looping section here. We've got a nice slip reverse. We've got our quantize, which I'll turn on, and our slip mode. If you hold shift, for those of you who don't know on our controllers, anything that's in white, if you hold shift and click it, it opens up the secondary function of it. And then you go up to the vinyl mode. Nice, really good responsive, what would you call this, Terry?
Rotary selector.
Yeah, rotary selector. Yeah. There's so many ways of saying it, and I get people.
Pop as well, I quite like calling it a pop.
I say a pop, yeah.
A potentiator.
Yeah, but I mean, I've got so many people say to me in the past, no, it's, and then someone says, no, and I'm like, well, what would you like me to call it, guys?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop twisting my now, okay.
Yeah. Too far, mate, too far. So, yeah, we'll call it rotary selector. So, yeah, very responsive with Rekordbox. So, let's have a look. We'll go for this track here. As soon as I click it, this has now been loaded into deck 1, or deck A if you're the old school way. So that's sort of this
just
function up
one
here.
quick thing, sorry,
Yeah.
Sam. Just the one thing that I kind of do like about that is that, you know, a lot of historically the controllers have gone sort of 1, 2, 3, 4 with the channels,
Yes.
but most DJs will use the inner 2 as their main ones and the outer one.
Absolutely.
And that's actually kind of mimicked that on the 1000, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. I mean, again, it depends what kind of light you've been brought up on.
Yeah.
I was brought up this way, so when I saw this, I thought, oh, fantastic, you know, it's easy to register. So, yeah, moving down, we'll go to this sort of the pad mode here and the pad sections here. I will be going into the mixer, but we'll look here. So, previously, 20 minutes ago, shall we say, I obviously explained to everyone what hot cues are and how you can colour them and how you set your beat grids. So this is where this comes into play. Jay, just to ask, how much volume have I got here?
So we'll work it. We'll see how much we've got.
We'll see, yeah. I still want you guys to hear what I'm doing, but still hear me. So these are preset from what I've done earlier. And this one, specifically one here, this red one, was the one I did as whilst you guys were in front of me. So when I click one here, this is running the first hot cue. Next one. So they're all doing something different. Go a little bit. So they're all doing something different. Now it's, you know, there's no right or wrong answer where you put hot cues. It's entirely how you do your set, you know. Obviously, you can obviously see now that it's color coded as well. Really good for, you know, I mean, I know DJs that sort of do, I do the same. So my orange has always been my backup. When I click that, okay, so this time I didn't have my orange as my backup, but usually I do 8 bars of just a beat, and if it's flashing orange on my hot cues, I know for a fact that that is a backup. So if something goes wrong, I've chained too much together, I'm losing my way, you know. You get someone dancing behind you and someone's nudged you and things go wrong. When I click it, the orange, I know for a fact that it's gonna start just a beat off, so you're not losing music. It's just, I mean, everybody has different ways. It's a good way that I use.
I use exactly the same. I call it my get out of jail.
Yeah,
route.
get out of jail. Yeah. It's a really good way of doing it.
We actually teach that, the get out of jail.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'm really glad.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm glad we're on the same wavelength.
100%.
So then,
I've got a quick question,
Yeah,
just
of
so
course.
when you're ready. It's a little bit off topic, but Tom Nisbet from New York has said, can you use the DDJ 1000 with a DJ S 1000 or Torres?
yes, but you're really not going to see the full functions of it. For example, the Torres and the DGS 1000 work off, again, your master and sync mode. Now, that works with the Ethernet with the Pro DJ link. This isn't, it's part of that range, if you will. However, the DGS 1000 has tempo fader, cue and play. You know, it's acting like CDJ, but it's, you know, it's disguised as sort of like your SP16 with the record functionality. You can't do the live recording, can't do live sampling, because you need a send and return. Yeah.
Right.
You can't do the Pro DJ link, so you will be using it off solely how good your beat matching is.
Okay.
I mean, I know DJs that still do it with
Yeah.
the DGS 1000, but you can have your output into one of these channels here. This is the beauty of it being a 4-channel mixer.
Yeah.
So there, you can do that, but you know, you're limiting your functionality. I mean, my advice, if you really want to go down the Torres DGS 1000 range, start looking at your CDJ range and XDJ range.
Yeah. Okay.
And make sure your mixer is 750 Mark II or 900 Nexus, something with send and return. Then you're going to see the full functionality of the DGS 1000.
Cool. All right, Tom, I hope answers your question.
Yeah,
Cheers.
okay, cool. So yeah, going back to what I was mentioning before, my orange is my backup. My greens are my one-shots. Now this usually is a drop. I hope I've put this as a drop. Yes. And it's a good way of doing it. Now, I haven't done it with this track, and I really should have done, but usually I have blue as sort of vocal. So if there's sort of like an 8-bar vocal that I really like, I know it's flashing in blue. If there's a breakdown, I know it's red, so on and so on. You get the idea. I mean, it's entirely up to you guys how you do your color coding. But there's the Hotkey Modes. Now, with the DDJ 1000, you have your 8 banks here that I've put in Rekordbox DJ, but you also have you also have a page here. If I click over, you've now got another 8. And you can set hot cues within the DDJ 1000, you just can't color code them. So, let's set one. So there's a hot cue, and all I have, that's a hot cue loop. All I have to do is click a blank pad. So when I recall that now, that's going to do the loop. Make sense? If I come out of the loop, and if I fast forward to the track a little bit, let's do a one shot. Make sense? Good. So then we've got the pad effects, the next pad mode. Now pad effects is working from Rekordbox DJ. Now if you're previous users from our DDJ range, so the RR, etc., you'll know the pad effects, and they're really good, but these are software based. Yeah, and the reason why I'm telling you that is because the effects mode in the mixer isn't, which is a brand new feature. None of our previous controllers have done this. This is all hardware based. So if I press play, have a listen to some of them. You've got various ones here, just to add more drama to your mix. You know, they're really good to use. I mean, Terry, anybody, do you ever use the pad modes within the mixing?
Yeah, all the time, especially with the vinyl break when I'm on the controls with the vinyl break. Like you say, to add a little bit more drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, the vinyl break on the pad effects is an awesome effect to use. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, I totally agree. Pad effects, again, if you're going to really go into effects, I'd be using your beat effects and your sound color effects here. But pad effects are just a nice little cheeky addition to your track. Make it a little bit more interesting, make your drops bigger, make your breakdowns more euphoric, etc.
I like the fact, for me, they're that kind of the instant gratification effects.
Yeah,
you press
absolutely.
them, they do what they're supposed to do, you let go and they're done. You know, it's a good fun bit to kind of jump in and really kind of add creativity. Sound color effects, you've got that little bit of control and depth on there. And then if you really want to go to town, you've got that full beat effect section. So it's a nice kind of three-step range to be able to get that full spectrum of effects.
I mean, if you think of how many effects we're actually giving you, there's a lot really on there.
Too many, take some back.
I'll contact Pioneer, let them know.
I think what separates it out for me is the pad effects are very much like the performance effects. So once you're in the mix and maybe you're a turntablist DJ as well, I think these are the ones that will affect the outcome of the actual beat match rather than like kind of using the beat effects, which is more like a swooping across the.
Yes, I agree. Yes,
yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah. So next on the pad mode is the beat jump. I personally am not a user of this, but I know people that are. So if we press play, beat jump works on. These two are going to jump left and right by a bar, and then 2, and then 4, and then 8. So if I get to a part of the track. Yeah, so all that's doing is jumping back 1 bar, 2 bars, 4 bars, or jump ahead. Nice little addition. Again, this is all software based. It's a really nice little addition to your mixing. You know, you can really make your drops a little bit more interesting by doing the beat jump. Also, if you are looking at, you know, I've had it before where I thought, geez, I really should have done a hot cue to skip these 32 bars that are not really doing anything. I do tend to jump a couple of bars in front, you know, a couple of 16 bars in front. Let's speed this up because there's a big drop coming, etc. The next one is a sampler. Now we have over here we have a sample volume here. Now I've added just some simple ones here myself, and it's good for a little maybe a percussion over the top if you want to add maybe some vocals. Really good, the sampler. So there's sampler, sorry. So, like I said previously, in all our controller range, if you hold shift and you see something in white and you click it, it opens up a secondary function. Now here's where the DDJ 1000 really gets interesting, especially on the pad mode. So if I hold shift and click, let's start with pad effects, this opens up pad effects 2. So these are another set of effects that are completely different to the previous pad effects 1.
Which are all editable as well.
Yeah, sorry, yes, should have mentioned, yes, all editable. And if I go to beat loop, this is really cool. It creates sort of like a loop, and you can go down the loop and cut the loop in half, if you will. And so on. Now, again, as a user of this now, one of the main functions that I tend to use a lot, and what's great about it is it's really brought my mixing into a completely new world. So I've been doing this for 10 years and I've been mixing off a lot of equipment. I've not really experienced a part of my career as a DJ like this, and this is the key shift and keyboard mode. And it was just before you guys came, we were having a play, weren't we, Terry? Yes. And it's just, there's endless, you know. I've seen DJs use it and you're like, how is this possible? Well, this is how they're doing it.
I think one of the things, the questions that we've had put to us quite a lot is what the difference is between keyboard and key shift.
Yeah, so I'll go into that, absolutely, yeah. So let's go back to Hotkey, and I just want to work off a Hotkey for now. Let's have we'll have this here. So there are differences between keyboard and key shift. They're both going to give you the end result. It's going to shift the keys through semitone, right? However, if I hold shift and open keyboard mode, you will notice that the pads are now flashing. What you then do is you select a hotkey to work off. So we'll use this one that's on now. Then this is the pads are then going to go up in semitones and change the key. But with keyboard mode, it continuously restarts your hotkey. For example, now you'll have to bear with me, I'm still learning it. I know how to do it, but if you're going to ask me to be a master on keyboard mode, you're not going to get it. I'm learning just as much as the guys here on the Rise. But as you can see, it's restarting the hotkey. And it's also got a nice little key reset here. So if you're going to really go complex with this, and you end up finishing in this key before you drop on your next deck, simply click key reset, it resets the original key. Again, with your page shift, you can go as high as, and then you go low. And you've also got the you've always got the key reset there to take you back. So that's the keyboard function. The key shift function allows you to do the same, but the track will continuously play. So whereas the keyboard restarts a hotkey every time, this allows you I think that's the first time I've actually done something that sounds alright on this. It's done so well, but you've really got to look into it. So are we all understand the keyboard and key shift mode? Key shift will allow you to continue the track on. Keyboard will reset hotkeys, you work from hotkeys.
Cool. We've actually got a couple of quick questions here. Well, one looks like a quick question, one looks a little bit longer. So Gareth Williams says, can I use this controller with the Pioneer Dgm Rec App?
Unfortunately, no. Yeah. Because the Record app works off USB send and return. So the output will be from send and return in, let's say, a 750 Mark II. Yeah. You plug your is it a Lightning iOS lead? iOS lead in, and that's how you're going to record. It goes straight through the master, straight through to your Record app. Yeah. I mean, if you want to sit it next to the speakers, it is possible, but I wouldn't really advise that.
Okay, thanks for your question, Gareth. We've also got another one from Tom Nisbet who says, if I use mixed in key and overwrite the key to Camelot, will it have any impact on the pitch pad effects?
Wow, that's quite an in-depth. I couldn't answer that right now, but I am more than willing to. I mean, if you can take details, I will happily find out for you and make sure you get contacted back. Yeah.
All right, cool. Guys,
very good question.
Any questions?
Yeah, any questions so far, guys? So we all.
By the way, Tom's one of our students as well. That's why I switched on.
Good. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I've got a feeling you guys said, listen, he's coming in. Let's catch him out. Let's catch him out. Here's one for you.
Okay, so here's like hopefully a simpler one to answer, but one that's quite pertinent. What is the difference, the main differences? I mean, there's very obvious differences, but what are the main differences between the RX2 and the DDJ 1000?
One's 4-channel, one's 2-channel.
Yep, please.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, I've been getting asked this question quite a lot. So, the RX2 range works with export mode, really. It is a standalone. It's a standalone controller. You know, it's a fantastic controller. I mean, I really like the RX2, but it is a standalone, and it's got elements and DNA from the Nexus 2. So if you're not willing to spend, the range of a full Nexus 2 setup, but you kind of wanting the outcome of the Nexus 2, RX2 is definitely something you need to go for, especially with things like the QWERTY keyboard, the 7-inch touchscreen. But it's a 2-channel mixer. There it is over there for those guys in store right now. The DDJ 1000 is a controller. Now, this is designed to control something in front of you. So for now, obviously, it's Rekordbox DJ. It's also 4-channel because you can use 4 decks within Rekordbox DJ. Hence why this is not a 4-channel mixer. So, yeah, I mean, and of course, looking into this, look at the mixing section you get in here, look at your keyboard and key shift mode, but this will require a laptop. This is a controller, whereas the RX2 is a standalone. Yeah, does that answer you?
Yeah.
Are you okay with that? Yeah. Any more questions, or shall we?
That's it for now.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Did we cover DVS with?
Yes.
Yeah,
So it is DVS ready, but you do need to purchase a DVS Plus pack. So previously, when I've mentioned that export mode is free because it's music management, and you can bounce your device down to create your hot cues, etc. And that's when you are going to use things like the RX2 and the XDJ range and CDJ range. But you do have to purchase a license key or purchase the DDJ 1000, and it comes with it. I'll flip that one in there. But then if you go to things like your DVS, so you're going to be using vinyl, you don't need an external sound card because it's got one built in, ready, DVS ready, but you do need to purchase a DVS license key, or DVS Plus pack as they call it. So yeah, let me go back. So yeah, we've just covered the keyboard and key shift mode, and that's pretty much everything in the pad mode here that I wanted to show you. Let's get rid of this hot cue. I mean, it's a great hot cue, but not when you leave it on. No. It can be quite annoying, that, for everybody. Yeah, so now we're going to be looking into the mixing section here. So I've covered that you can chain two laptops together, USB-A, USB-B. I've covered that it is also line input here. But what I really want to show you, as well, is two band mic, two mic inputs at the back. But what I really want to show you is the effects. Now, on previous controllers, you are solely relying on Rekordbox DJ for the effects function. Here, these are now hardware based, and we've added, there's 14 effects, 10 of them you'll see from our previous ranges, 4 are brand new effects, and I'm going to demo the effects to you now. But I think from a DJ myself, and I'm sure the guys here on the Rise will agree with me, to have hardware effects on a controller, it's, wow, if you ask me. Because if you look at the mixing section you get in here, it's very similar to a 750 Mark II and the 900 Nexus with the sound colour effects, and they're all hardware based. So let's say, for example, you are chaining something in, so CDJs, or you're going down the DVS route, but you want to purchase the controller, you've got full use of the sound colour effects. They're not using, you don't need Rekordbox to use them. So let's have a look at some. You've got 4 sound colour effects on here. Dub echo, pitch, noise, and a really nice sounding filter. Moving forward, we then have the beat effects. So again, we have 10 from our previous ranges, but we have the 4 new effects, which everybody's kind of asking me what they do. So hopefully I'll be able to answer this. So the first of the 4 new effects is the low-cut echo. Superb. I mean, what do you guys from On the Rise think of the low-cut echo? Have you? I know you've heard it.
Very big fan. Very big fan. It's it does everything you need to. To be honest, all 4 of the effects have hit the nail on the button. Normally, when you get some new effects, there's normally 1, maybe 2 that have not quite hit the mark, and they've all nailed it. The low pass echo definitely.
So it's a filter with it's an echo with a high pass filter on. So if we go to, we've got this track running here, and we've got, at the minute, I'm about 10-20 seconds away from the drop. So you can still hear still got the kick running in the background to keep that rhythm going, but you're affecting the high and the mid frequency. Really cool function. I mean, I've stopped using the echo as much now that the local echo's there. It really cleans everything up. Next, we've got the Enigma Jet. Now, if you're, I know these two, Jay and Terry.
Go Jet.
I need to be careful what I say, but these are old school DJs in here.
We missed our Jet. We did really miss Jet. We're glad she's back.
Yeah. So Jet was a massive hit back in the day. We've now got Enigma Jet. So Enigma Jet is a jet, but it's forever rising and descending tones in the background depending on where your parameters are. So, and it works great with breakdowns. If you have a breakdown, go through my parameters. So there's the Enigma Jet. So the two new ones that everybody's been asking me about is Mobius Sawtooth and Mobius Triangle. Both do the same. So it takes a tone and it's forever rising and descending tones in the background. Now I'm going to show you a really cool way I found to use these effects. The difference between Sawtooth and Triangle is different tones, if you will. One's warmer, one's less warm. Depends exactly what you're going to be using it for. But now I'm going to show you the Sawtooth. So if I find a Hotkey, my old favourite that I've used most of the video. So we have this Hotkey here. Now if I come out the Hotkey, we've got the drop there, yeah? So recall a Hotkey. This is now working when you're on the Mobius, it works as a volume as opposed to a dry and wet. So if I start the Mobius off on beat, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my loops in half whilst moving the parameter of the Mobius over. So in a way it's going to chain together. Everybody hearing that? Chain together. And then because we've added the sound colour effects, you've got a really nice filter to take that Mobius out, bring it back, let go. Really cool way of using it. So there's the Mobius Sawtooth. We've also got the Mobius Triangle. So there's the Triangle. Sorry, there's the Sawtooth. There's Triangle. Can you hear the difference? Sawtooth is sort of descending, then reascending, and this is the opposite. More flat sound in there. So yeah, right. Let's get rid of the my famous Hotkey loop there. It's really annoying me now. So they're the two new 4 effects. Sorry, they're the new 4 effects. Again, we've added things from the 900 Nexus range, 750. You've got spiral reverb, you've got, you know, pitch, roll, etc. So, one last thing I want to touch up on the beat effects is here where you can select your channel. So you can have the effects running on the microphone if you'd like to. You can have it running on the master, and then you can select your channel. But you can also select it onto the sampler. So let's add low-cut echo onto the sampler. Here's the sample volume here. Now if you hear it without the echo, now let's put the echo on. And you can change anything on here. So for example, let's have some reverb, really ramp the reverb up. Hear that reverb in? See how that would work. You know, I really like that as well. You know, a lot of people might think, well, I wouldn't really use that, but if you are a fan of the sampler and you like to add percussion over to your tracks, you can also add an effect on it as well. So, oh, sorry, yes, sorry, I do apologise. I'm pulling the wrong channel down there. I've never seen Jay move so quick.
No, nor have I. I've seen him when a sandwich man comes around.
Yeah. Channel Ninja.
So, everything I've shown you on, obviously, this deck here is the exact same over here. Now, we have, whilst, I've just sorry, James, I've just done it again. I'm not learning here.
Get the taser out.
Yeah. So, again, you know, this is a controller. You are controlling whatever's in front of you. Yeah. So, the idea is the shortcuts on here is so you don't have to touch your laptop. So for example, we have the related tracks function here. By holding shift, clicking, you now into the related tracks mode. The only thing you have to do is do your preparation in related tracks beforehand. You have to do your preparations in your related tracks beforehand. So mine, I've got the key, BPM, related artist. This is obviously, it's personal to me. You guys might have something completely different. But we've added functions on here so we don't really have to touch your laptop, hence why it's called a controller. So, I'm going to do a very quick, now don't judge me if I make a mistake, I'm going to do a very quick mix of just some of the functions that I've shown you here. Trying to add sound colour effects, I'm going to add some beat effects here. So I'm going to start off by going back to my really nice Hotkey here. So let's have a look at some of the sampler effects. Previously I showed you the Mobius source. So if I was going to come out of this Hotkey, I'd chain a Mobius onto it. Come out of the Mobius, back in, drop the track out. Go to my next Hotkey, so let's say this track's going further into this is going further into it. Go to my next Hotkey. Nice little breakdown. Little cool function I'll also show you, we've also got instant doubles. Yeah? So I'm going to turn my crossfader to A and B. So when I close my crossfader to B, it doesn't play a track. Open it, you're coming up to deck A. Over here, if I double click hot here, this is now creating a double of whatever track's going on here. So if I close my crossfader, it's got the same track running. And if I move over, Terry's looking at me thinking, God, this is, I could have done this better. You can do sort of like the instant double route. If I go to low cut echo, let's chain the low cut echo onto this. So you can do cool little tricks like that with the instant double. Going back to the keyboard mode, for those who want me to show it again. I've already set a Hotkey, but let's set a new one. Double this back up, bring the track back over. So now this is able to work off a Hotkey. So all I've done there is work from a Hotkey, change the key, open and close the crossfader to just open this here. Yeah, so there's a nice cool function that you can practice as well with the keyboard mode. So again, I'm not going to go too far into it because we could be here all night because I literally can't get off it. I've just shown you some nice little functions that you can do that, you know, maybe take home and practice with the keyboard mode, Mobius, instant doubles, going through my Magville fader. I should mention as well, this is the Magville Fader Pro, so it's got up to 10 million movements on.
It's a lot of movements.
A hell of a lot of movements, yeah. It depends how quick. I mean, I know Terry, I think he could.
Well, I was just about to say I was using it a bit earlier, but I've been using it since we got one. And if you are a scratch DJ, this is why I think this is a really good option. If you're a scratch DJ and you want to get into controllers and you want to get into the digital side and not necessarily like kind of have to rely on the DVS side, I think this is a very good option for you because that Magville fader is awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think as well with the Magville fader being on here and it being 4-channel DVS ready, if you are a DVS DJ looking for a controller that you can incorporate with still within your setup, DDJ 1000 definitely. So, are there any questions?
Yeah, price.
Price. So, the price of this is $11.59. So, if you think for $11.59 what you're getting here, look at the mixing section here. Look at the CDJ Nexus 2 DNA that's incorporated. Look at the fact that it's 4-channel. Look at the fact that it's DVS ready. For the price, it's pretty unbelievable.
Basically saving about 4,800 quid from our Nexus 2 range.
Yeah.
Not that we want to take away from that. Guys, any questions from you guys at all? Don't be shy. Not a single question from anyone. Sorry, mate. One sec. Sorry. Jump in there for
Yeah, I have a question in regards to software.
Yeah.
I'm a PC user and currently use Serato. So all the work that you do with Serato, if I wanted to use the DDJ 1000, how is it to cross the softwares to Rekordbox?
You mean cross your Serato
So get all my
database
data.
over to?
Yeah. For a PC user.
Yeah, interesting.
I don't know.
Myself and Scott had this conversation earlier. It was more.
Right.
It was more about. He's got a DDJ SB, haven't you? SB2. And he's just started beat gridding, just started setting up his hot cues and stuff like that. And he's very interested in getting himself a DDJ 1000. I think what he's asking is what's the easiest way to take all that data from Serato to Rekordbox?
There is. We were talking about this before, weren't we, Jay? There's various ways. I'd like you, if you wouldn't mind, if you could touch upon what you said to me before, because it's the first time I'd actually heard about this.
So there's Record Buddy 2, which is a bit of software that's been in beta for quite a few. It's only for Macs at the moment. I know that he has, but this guy, Damien Serkis, is the guy that runs it. I know he is working on Windows because it's been hugely requested. He's done all the circuit of all of the conferences, so I know he's working on it. When that comes out, the idea behind that is that between Rekordbox, Serato, and Tractor databases, you'll be able to share the cue point. I don't know how it deals with beat grids. In all honesty, because I play like a lot of older stuff, the beat grid requires a lot more attention. If I was playing newer stuff and you chuck the beat grid in, then fine, I'd probably give it a go more. But I'm meticulous about getting those beat grids right. You know, for me, if you get those beat grids right, all the features on whatever controller you're using then open right up. I'm also a little bit kind of dubious about letting a computer do it. You know, I'm a big fan of the digital world, but there's a certain line now. It's a lot of work, you know. I've beat gridded 2,000 songs in Serato, 2,000 in Tractor, and 2,000 in Rekordbox. I've done a lot of beat gridding, and I'm sure there's more to. I'm sure there's more to come.
What I was saying to you earlier, yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, from my personal point of view, that's the first time I'd heard about the software, and I know it's in beta stage at the minute. I was, before Rekordbox, years ago, I was previously a Tractor user. I've done exact same as what Jay's just said. Now, I've spent so long, I've spent so long at looking at beat grids and doing hot cues, etc. But it's not like I've sat there and physically, and I'm talking from a user now, it's not like I've sat there and physically gone, right, well, I've got 7 days, a 24-pack of Red Bull, let's just crack it out, yeah? All I've done is just bit by bit, and before you know it, you've done a lot more than you think.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, it's a guy over here with a monster energy. Yeah, and I think, to be honest with you, if you're really looking into getting Rekordbox, I personally would go to the Rekordbox route, definitely. It's worth spending the time. You know what I mean? It's worth going through maybe iTunes or another way of loading onto Rekordbox. It's worth spending the time. It's worth putting it into folders. And it's definitely worth checking your beat grids. If this software takes off, I don't think I'd trust it.
No. Do you know what, for me also as well, each software platform that I've used, I've changed and adapted to the software's strengths. And like Sam, I was using Tractor before Rekordbox. And so I used Serato before that. What I love about Rekordbox, which Tractor does but Serato doesn't, is that you can save hot cues as loops. Now, you can save loops in Serato, and you can save cue points, but there isn't anywhere near as easy as what Rekordbox can do. You know, you set your beat grid, you create a loop, you hit a spare hot cue key. That's it. It's done.
It's the fact that, I mean, obviously that I do all that in export mode, because I tend to, you can see on the wavelength your breakdowns and etc. And you can listen to the song more, but you know, I can still do it on the fly as well. You know, I'm always ready to take a hot cue in. If you've got 8 bars and you hear the first 4 and you think, wow, and then it repeats, I can put a hot cue loop in within literally seconds, and I've always got it, and it always saves. Yeah. So let's say, for example, press play here. I like this part here. Go to my page shift, some blank hot cues. I like this breakdown. There's nothing worse than being in the mix and thinking, I should have done this at home. Create a loop, bang, straight away. And there you go. There's your hotkey saved.
We've got a question from Rats. He says, he's had someone ask me, as the mixer is standalone, does that mean you can plug in Tractor using the timecode and audio box like you would on a 900 mixer or whatever?
So, right.
I was doing it verbatim, so.
If you could just repeat that. Yeah.
Basically, I think what Rats has been asked is, because it's a standalone mixer, could it be used for like a DVS control with another platform like?
I personally haven't tried it.
Yeah.
Going off my professional view on it, I wouldn't trust it because this is made for Rekordbox DJ.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to look at external software, you're going to find, there's no doubt about it, you'll agree with me, you're going to find your glitches.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, again, I've not tried it myself. It's not something I have tried. I'm not saying I don't think it wouldn't work. I think it would, but I really wouldn't trust something like that. This is designed for Rekordbox DJ.
If a piece of hardware isn't native to the software, there's always going to be an issue wherever it is. Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, so we got another question here. This one's a bit of a bigger one. From Nick Chatton.
All right, Nick.
Having decided to go laptop free, inverted commas, I'm now interested in the DMX lighting within Rekordbox. Are there any plans to allow the function to work with export mode rather than performance mode?
Not that I know of.
No.
And I generally do not know that. And if I did, I don't think I could
No,
disclose
that's what I thought.
Yeah. If I did know that, I don't think I could disclose it.
Keep watching the Pioneer site.
I mean, yeah, you know, take a look at our updates. Take a look at anything we're bringing out, and we also have a forum which we you know, we're really hard on the forum. We're checking that every single day because we want to hear what you guys are thinking, because it's your, you know, input, if you will, which is helping us develop our products. So we really want to know what the customer's thinking and what's hot out there, what they want to see next. So if you want to check the forum and, you know, murder it with posts.
Yeah.
But again, if I did know, and gifts, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, if I did know, I don't think I could disclose something like that.
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
Cool. So, any more questions, guys, at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Go for it.
Can you update the firmware so you can get more effects through the firmware of the DDJ 1000 somehow?
How do you mean? Do you mean sort of pad effects?
No, like say Pioneer brought out an update for the DDJ 1000. Can you update it through the firmware rather than?
The firmware basically is normally about how the control will function. So generally, firmware updates are kind of fixing bugs, improving certain things. I think what you're talking about there is the effects in there are hardware effects. So as obviously we could all speculate as to what it changed, but I think most of the changes that you're asking potentially would come with potentially future Rekordbox updates incorporating more effects into it.
So the way that would work with the DDJ 1000, if you were going to purchase, it wouldn't be, you couldn't add effects here or sound color. However, you know, we could, I'm not saying we are going to, but I'm saying, you know, in a future update for Rekordbox DJ, you could access effects with the pad effects, and we might add some different pad effects on there. But because this is hardware based, that's a no. On previous controllers like the RR, which are software-based effects, then yes, you could do it with that. Right. But if you ask me, I'd really be looking at hardware effects mixers and controllers myself.
There's a lot of effects on there to play with.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I don't know how many you plan on chaining together.
Are you not happy with Mobius Saw?
Yeah.
Enigma Jet will be very upset. Cool. All right. I think we are going to wrap this up then, unless there's any final questions. Okay, cool. Well, thank you everyone that's been watching the live stream. This is On the Rise DJ Academy. We've had Sam Shepherd, the product specialist at Pioneer, showcasing the DDJ 1000 and Rekordbox. So thank you very much, Sam, for your time.
Yeah, no, thank you for everything. If I could just add, if there are any questions feel free to send them over to me, or send to you, then send them to me, and
Yeah.
I'll answer them as best as I can.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot the competition.
Oh, that's right, yeah,
So,
wow, okay, yeah.
what we're going to do is Sam has very kindly brought a sweatshirt and a T-shirt along for Pioneer. So, for those of you watching the live stream, and we are going to keep this competition open till around middle of next week. So, if you're watching this not live, then you still have a chance. So, all you need to do is in the comments put in the model name of the kit that Sam just demoed. I mean, you could not get any easier than that. It's actually in the title of the live stream.
If there are that are wrong, please let me know.
And one lucky winner here is going to win a pair of, what headphones are they again?
Extends.
X10s.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Sam. Could be in for 2 wins in a row, mate.
Everybody's looking at me right now.
You can't possibly win 2 pairs.
All right, nice one, guys. Thanks very much for your
Thanks very
time.
much for having me,
We'll
guys.
catch you soon.
Thank
All
you.
right, big up, mate. Thank you very much. Cheers. All right.